Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a topic that honestly is universally dreaded by almost any growing organization in India. I'm talking about statutory leave compliance. If you've ever had a hand in HR or payroll, just hearing the phrase labor inspection probably makes your heart rate spike a little bit, right? But stick with me because we're going to break down exactly what the law actually demands, why doing things the old school way is putting your company at a massive risk, and most importantly, how to bulletproof your operations so you literally never have to panic again. Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this scenario. It's just a regular Tuesday morning and boom, you get a completely unexpected request. A labor inspector wants to see your muster rolls and leave records for the entire last financial year. You don't get weeks to prepare for this. No, this request usually comes with virtually zero notice and a terrifyingly tight deadline. If you're relying on manual data tracking, your heart just sinks. You already know exactly what the next 48 hours of your life are going to look like. Section 1. The Audit Fire Drill. For any team still using spreadsheets or physical registers, this kicks off what we can only call the scramble. Daily operations? Yeah, they come to a screeching halt. Instead of just calmly handing over a file, HR is thrown into total chaos, desperately trying to put together a giant puzzle where half the pieces are missing. I mean, think about it. Reconstructing a full year of leave history for just one single employee can take days. Now multiply that by your whole workforce. You're digging through old emails, deciphering messy spreadsheets, hoping you didn't miss a manual entry somewhere. And the brutal truth? If a compliance audit gives you a strict window and your process takes days just to reconstruct the data, you've effectively already failed the test. Moving on to Section 2, the compliance maze. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that scramble is so agonizing. Indian payroll isn't just one simple rulebook. It's a massive, complex labyrinth of overlapping central laws and hyperlocal state rules. You aren't just tracking generic time off, you're juggling at least 4 distinct leave types, each with its own totally different legal formula. You've got earned leave under the Occupational Safety Code, maternity leave under the Code on Social Security, and then casual and sick leaves, plus national holidays, which are driven by state shops and establishments acts. If you've got offices in multiple states, you're basically playing 3D chess with all these different holiday calendars and accrual rules at the exact same time. Now, you might be thinking, hey, this only applies to giant corporations, right? Actually, scratch that. Keep this number in your head. 10. If your establishment has 10 or more workers, you are legally bound to maintain proper, dispute-proof muster rolls and attendance registers. Doesn't matter if they're physical or electronic. They have to be rock solid. Let's look at some specific numbers that constantly trip companies up. First up, 180. Under the Occupational Code, once a worker hits 180 days of service in a calendar year, they start accruing earned leave, specifically 1 day for every 20 days worked. But it doesn't stop there. The law caps the carry forward at 30 days and demands mandatory encashment for anything beyond that limit. Missing that 180-day trigger, it is a ridiculously easy way to fall out of compliance. Then we pivot to maternity leave, where the magic number is 26. Under Chapter 6 of the Code on Social Security, maternity leave runs for 26 weeks for the first 2 children. For a third child or for adoptive mothers, it's 12 weeks. And the law is incredibly strict here. Eligibility docs, medical certificates, and payment histories have to be instantly retrievable the second an inspector asks. So, the crucial point is, to even qualify for those 26 weeks, an employee has to have worked at least 80 days in the preceding 12 months. That means HR must meticulously track and be able to prove that this 80-day mark was actually hit. If you only figure this out retroactively when someone files a claim, you're way too late, and you've just exposed the entire organization to massive financial and legal risks. Section 3. Why manual tracking fails. Look, I want to be really clear about something. Spreadsheets don't fail because your HR team is careless. They fail because the sheer weight of this compliance burden has completely outgrown manual capabilities. It's a systemic failure, for sure. Think about where it breaks down. Those 180-day or 80-day thresholds, they go totally unchecked in real time. State rules get applied inconsistently, like say an employee moves from your Bangalore office to Delhi. Without automation, someone in HR has to physically remember to pull the policy, cross-reference it, and switch their register. Add in super slow retrieval times, and the result is pretty much inevitable: penalties, encashment disputes, and severe delays in final settlements. But arguably the most dangerous trap here is creating what I call fragmented truths. If a manager approves a vacation over email, HR updates the balance in a spreadsheet, and the front desk logs attendance in a physical book, you literally have 3 different versions of the truth. Make no mistake, an inspector is not going to sit there and piece that together for you. They will only accept a record that aligns perfectly across all of them.
Section 4. Compliance by Design.
Thankfully, there's a pressure release valve for all this chaos. The contrast here is just night and day. You can either live the nightmare of frantically reconstructing historical data under intense time pressure, or you can just build it correctly from day one with an automated leave management system. Having your underlying record structured flawlessly from the start, that is the sole difference between a smooth, pleasant inspection and a multi-day panic attack. Let's move to and see how this builds out in a proper system, taking away all the guesswork. Step 1. The software automatically enforces correct accruals based purely on the employee's location and classification, totally solving that multi-state headache. Step 2. It links all those distinct statutory leaves right into one single employee dashboard. And step 3. Every single action is logged with a precise timestamp and the improver's name.
Section 5. Instant Proof on Demand.
Because these records now live in a highly searchable system, instead of being buried in an email thread or a dusty filing cabinet, what used to take days of agonizing retrieval now literally takes minutes. When auditors show up, they don't want vague assurances. They demand specific evidence on the spot. They want a pristine muster roll for a given month. They want documented proof that maternity leave was calculated flawlessly. And they want undeniable evidence that encashment was paid out right inside the statutory exit window. An automated system hands that over instantly. And this is exactly how PaySquare approaches the problem. By building statutory leave compliance directly into their HR and payroll services, they turn that terrifying periodic scramble into a continuous, totally defensible record. The software acts like an invisible compliance officer, making sure your records are completely audit-ready long before an inspector ever decides to knock on the door. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it captures the absolute essence of this entire topic. Compliance isn't about having a policy on paper. It's about being able to prove instantly and accurately that the policy was applied correctly to every employee every time. A beautiful policy manual sitting on a desk is pretty much worthless if you can't prove you actually executed it perfectly. Real compliance is strictly about undeniable, instant proof. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one absolutely critical question to ask yourself today. Take a really hard look at your current systems. If the labor inspector knocked on your door right now, literally this minute, are your leave records actually ready? Or would you be plunging straight back into the audit fire drill? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and here's to making your compliance totally effortless and airtight.